Hi, Joe. Say hi, Joey only.
Hi.
Say hi, Joey only.
Hi, what?
Joey only.
Hi, Joey only?
I'm Frank Adele. You're listening to Comedeorology Weather Report on every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Joey only fights fires. He's a really well-known firefighter in British Columbia. He fights fires. He runs a YouTube channel in a podcast called Caribou Weather Dude, Convenient Plus Meteorology. I'm on Joey Only Show every Thursday night at 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Joey Only's a really nice guy. I'm Frank Adele. You're listening to Comedeorology Weather Report. See you on Thursday night. Say hi, Joey Only.
Hi.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather, whether or not.
Good afternoon, Prince George. I'm still getting that right. Good afternoon, Prince George. Good afternoon, Winnipeg. Yeah. Good evening, Kamloops. And hello, viewers on Rogers Television. This is the Comedeorological Report. Comedy plus meteorology equals Comedeorology. It's your show about how much the weather sucks in Canada. And I'm your host, Joey Only, up here in Wells, British Columbia, land of the snow. Once again, it's coming a little bit, at least here. Southern BC is going to get slammed. We got all kinds of weather stories. We got special guests. We got the man himself, Frankie McDonald. He's out there in Sydney, Nova Scotia, the star of the show, co-host every week. He's with us, and we will be starting with him in just a couple minutes' time. And we also have Mike McGregor and Justin Ertl from the Weather Center of Manitoba. You've changed the name, and I can't get it. Is that right, Brandon? The Weather Center of Manitoba? How did I screw this up?
I think it's the weather. I believe. Hold on.
How could I screw that up?
Find it
Yeah,
here.
it is the Weather Center in Manitoba.
There we go.
It's
amateur hour tonight.
It's amateur hour tonight on the show.
Where's Imogen?
She's just showing up right now, Frankie, as a matter of fact. It's the 7th of March is what it is. So if you're hearing this on the radio or seeing this on TV, and we're talking about forecasts, bear in mind, we're not talking about today when we're talking about today, because your today is not our today. We're time traveling. That's what we're doing right now. Okay, showtime. Frankie McDonald.
Frankie, the weatherman. Frankie, the weatherman. Who?
Frankie.
Who?
Frankie.
Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie!
How you doing so far, buddy?
I'm doing great so far. Weather across North America. It's freezing, rain in Nova Scotia right now. It's freezing, raining. It's 1 degree in Sydney, Nova Scotia as of right now. It's going to change over to freezing rain, ice pellets, then snow after that. A little bit of snow. Then it's going to move out the coast. Then it got more rain heading for Ontario. And all across eastern United States this weekend coming. And next week's going to bring some snow up in northern Ontario. And we're in the rain to Quebec and Val-d'Or, Quebec and all those places. It's snow. Lots of snow up there. Then it got some more snow in places like in interior British Columbia and in Whistler, British Columbia, and all those places as of right now. Then it got cold air and warm air fighting each other. This time of year is going to last for the next few months. Lots of rain, thunderstorms going on in Central America right now. And lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in Brazil right now and in southern Brazil, including Amazon rainforest, Colombia, parts of Peru, parts of Ecuador, parts of Bolivia, and all those places. In Colombia, Bolivia, Ecuador, and Peru, and lots of thunderstorms and rain going on right now. In northern Chile, it's really hot and really, really dry right now. And in southern Chile, it's snow up in the mountains and rain. And in the coastal areas in southern Chile right now, their fall doesn't start till March 19th. Up around England right now, you got some cold air in England right now. Then you got some snow up in Spain right now. They got cold air heading through Spain and Portugal, even parts of Morocco. Because right now they got some rain and snow in Italy and Austria and Bosnia and all those places in Germany and France. And we got some showers in Greece and Albania with chance of thunderstorms. They got cold air hitting for Greece too and Turkey and all those places. Lots of cold air in Norway, Finland, Sweden right now. And Belarus and Moscow, Russia right now. And Libya's warm air, cold air fighting each other in Libya as well. Oh my God, in Japan and Western Pacific. Weather all across Western Pacific. It's really cold in Japan right now. Lots of storms come off the coast of Japan. They got snow in Sapporo, Hokkaido, Japan. They got Another storm aimed towards Japan on Monday and Tuesday. It's going to bring some more snow up in northern Japan again.
Oh my
And it
God.
got really cold there in South Korea, North Korea, Vladivostok, Russia. It's so cold in Mongolia right now. Siberia is gradually warming up this time of the year. It's really hot in southern China, like Hong Kong, those places. Lots of thunderstorms and rain going on. Indonesia right now is still really, really dry in India and still really dry in parts of Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Bangladesh, and all those countries. It's still their dry season not over yet. Next month's going to be extremely hot in India. That's their summer starts. Next month in India, that's their kind of summer is going to get extremely hot temperatures there. And I got something else to say. And lots of thunderstorms and rain going on in Madagascar, La Reunion, and Mauritius Islands, including parts of Mozambique, and thunderstorms and rain going on in Tanzania, including parts of Kenya, Southern Democratic Republic of Congo, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Angola, and all these places right now. And it's going to be 12-hour daylight, 12-hour darkness in Antarctica soon. Lots of thunderstorms and rain in Papua New Guinea right now, northern Australia. Then it gets a hot air hitting for New Zealand, hot air and cool air fighting each other because their fall starts on March 19th. Daylight savings time begins in Northern Hemisphere on Saturday, March 9th, and Sunday, March 10th. First weekend of April, time falls back in New Zealand.
That's right. It's spring forward weekend, so make sure if you're working a night shift on Saturday night, you get that extra hour of pay that you did not work for. Our panel tonight includes Brandon Hauk, who's a radio man out there in Brooks, Alberta. He's one of the most talented radio weathermen there is, and we're glad to have him every week.
And what about April 7th, daylight savings time ends in New Zealand?
It ends in New Zealand, Frankie. That's right. I just want to introduce everybody and do station IDs quickly because I forgot. We got Brandon Hauk, radio weatherman, Brooks, Alberta. We got meteorologist Mark Ingalls back with us from Portland, Oregon. So glad to have him, of course. Imogen Cookie Bailey, associate producer. She's down in Victoria, British Columbia. And we got Mike McGregor from Weather Center in Manitoba. Frankie, I don't know if you've met Mike before, but he also has
Frankie, now nice to meet you.
He also has a show on CKUW 95.9 FM in Winnipeg.
Nice to meet you, man.
And we'll ask him about that.
A YouTuber from Sydney, Nova Scotia, Canada. There's a big blizzard hitting for St. John's Newfoundland. I did a video yesterday.
We'll show that video. I got that lined up right in a second here, Frankie. Also, you're hearing us on CFR 88.7 FM in Prince George and CFBX 92.5 FM in Kamloops. And hello, viewers on Rogers Television. Thanks for having us on once again. Okay, now we got it, all that settled. Does anybody have questions for Frankie McDonald tonight on the panel? Let's open the panel up to some questions for Frankie.
I actually have a question for Frankie.
Yeah.
It looks like you guys are going to get another storm like Sunday or so. What do you think about that for Nova Scotia?
Got to bring snow, rain mix.
Any freezing rain for you?
Snow, rain mix this time on Sunday. A little bit of freezing rain tonight. And this Sunday and Monday, it's going to bring snow, rain mix in Nova Scotia. Like combination of snow and rain. And the temperature is going to be 3 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, excellent. We got more questions for Frankie on the panel. Mike, Frankie, glad now I've introduced you guys. Brandon, you got a question for Frankie this week?
Okay, question for you, Frankie. Do you see any more snowstorms for Winnipeg like what we saw this past week? I know that the weather pattern is transitioning from a El Nino to a La Nina, and I normally expect that when that happens, there's going to be wild weather fluctuations.
And on Tuesday, there's another mix of precipitation and forecast in Winnipeg, Manitoba. The temperature is going to be above freezing next week for them. Wow. Night temperature is going to be around -2 to -3 before wind chill.
Do you see like any plus temperatures? Then I'm starting to look forward to spring weather, and I really want to have that. So
They'll be transitioning to vertical equinox.
So you see like warmer weather coming?
And got a little bit warm, mild weather, and it's going to bring some snow, rain mix in Winnipeg next week. Then it's going to bring combination snow, rain in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Yeah, thank you, Frankie. We'll be talking to Mike some more in just a minute's time. Everybody want to see Frankie's videos? You know, I got something special for you lined up tonight because it's the first time, Frankie, you've met Mike. We got some of the first Frankie videos he's ever made tonight on the channel for you. You guys ready for this?
Yes.
Yes, I'm ready.
Very excited.
Some of the first Frankie McDonald. Nice evening before it rains on Friday. When was this video, Frankie?
October 2011. This is my own news station live from Sydney, Nova Scotia. Right now, weather is nice and cool, and it's going to rain in Sydney, Nova Scotia on Friday. People are enjoying their nice weather. So far, so good. Lots of people are enjoying their nice weather today. People going for walks. Kids are on the door, explore rides at Neville Park and Wendy Pier. Lots of kids are enjoying their nice weather so far. And it's going to rain on Friday, and people are enjoying their nice weather. This is my own news station live from Sydney, Nova Scotia right now. Kids are enjoying their nice weather, going for walks and stuff like that. Kids are enjoying their nice day, going for walks, enjoying their sun today because it's nice out and only got one more day for nice weather before it rains on Friday. Lots of kids are enjoying their nice day today.
And look at that, he's got a lava lamp there, Frankie. So these are the first videos Frankie ever put up on his channel where he's talking.
That was in Dogs and Wolves channel. The plasma ball.
Cool plasma ball. Yeah, before that he's got some videos where he's some pictures of your street and stuff. These are the first time Frankie got in front of the camera on the Dogs and Wolves channel.
It looks so nice.
You still have that thing, Frankie?
Yes.
That's awesome. It's a plasma ball. When you touch it, for the radio listeners, it makes kind of makes like a lightning kind of looking thing. And he's got a lava lamp there. There's a lava lamp.
Those plasma balls were a big deal like 20 years ago. I remember seeing them like every time I went to Target.
Pittsburgh Penguins going in the playoffs for sure this year, and Pittsburgh Penguins is going in the playoffs for sure this year. Best of luck to you.
There we are. Yeah, Sidney Crosby's from near Sydney, Nova Scotia, is he not?
Old Harbor, outside of Halifax, Dartmouth.
Ah, right. And this is the first video of Frankie spinning. Frankie's spinning around. How'd you get the idea to do that, Frankie?
That was my own idea. This is Frankie McDowell, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Major blizzard head towards St. John's to playing on Friday, March 8, 2024. It's going to start on Thursday, March 7 during the evening hours. It's going to bring 50 plus centimeters of snow. Winds are going to be really strong. It's going to cause blow and drift of snow, reduce visibility, dangerous or treacherous driving conditions. It's going to bring a whole lot of snow. And St. John's, Newfoundland and surrounding areas. It's going to bring blow and snow, drift of snow, really dangerous driving conditions, and blow and drift of snow, really dangerous driving conditions. It's going to bring blow and snow, drift and snow, white oak conditions, reduced visibilities, and dangerous and treacherous driving conditions. And streets, roads, highways, and Trans-Canada Highway will be snow covered in the St. John's, Newfoundland and the surrounding areas as well. It's going to bring a lot of snow. Winds are going to be really strong in greater St. John's, Newfoundland and the surrounding areas and around the Avalon Peninsula. There'll be big waves crashing on beaches, shores of St. John's, Newfoundland and the surrounding areas as well. People in St. John's, Newfoundland, be prepared. Have your winter boots ready, with your jackets ready, hats and gloves, scarf and ski pants is ready. Order your pizzas and order your Chinese food. Buy cases of Pepsi, buy cases of Coke. Do your grocery shopping. Don't wait till last minute. Do it right now. Make sure if your smartphone, cell phones, laptops, tablets, church, ever 3G, 4G, 5G, and LTE and ready as well. When you drive a car, take our time, drive a car, slow down, so don't get into car accidents. When you go for a walk, be very careful walking so you don't slip and fall. Make sure if your furnace is in heat pumps ready, turn on your furnace to keep those warm. Drink lots of green tea, white tea, red tea. Drink lots of green tea, keep it warm. Have for extra blankets ready, keep it warm as well. Make sure if your shovels, snow scoops, snow blowers, snow plows, salt trucks ready as well. If anybody lives in St. John's, Newfoundland, be prepared for major blizzard on Friday, March 8, 2024. Take care, stay safe. Don't get caught in major blizzard. Stay warm, be safe. This is Frankie McDowell, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Major snowstorms headed towards Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Saturday, March 2nd, 2024. It's going to bring up to 20 plus centimeters of snow and more, including North Battleford, Prince Albert, and Yorkton, and Lloydminster, and Saskatchewan. It's going to bring blow and drift of snow, reduce visibility, dangerous and treacherous driving conditions. It's going to bring howling winds, blow and snow, drift of snow, really dangerous, treacherous driving conditions in Saskatoon and the surrounding areas as well. It's going to bring big old snow drifts and streets, roads, highways, and Yellowhead Highway 16 will be snow covered. It's going to bring blow, snow, drift, and snow, reduced visibilities, dangerous and treacherous driving conditions in Saskatoon and surrounding areas as well. It's going to bring a lot of snow in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and surrounding areas as well. It's going to bring snow drifts, howling winds, blowing snow, drift, and snow as well. People in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, be prepared. Have your winter boots ready, with your jackets ready, hats, gloves, scarf, and ski pants ready. Order your pizzas and order your Chinese food. Buy cases of Pepsi, buy cases of Coke. Do your grocery shopping. Don't wait till last minute. Do it right now. Make sure if your smartphone, cell phone, laptops, tablets, church, every 3G, 4G, 5G, LTE, ready as well. When you drive a car, take a drive a car, slow down, so don't get in a car accident. When you go for a walk, Be very good rocket seats also fall. Make sure your furnace heat pumps ready. Turn on your furnace heat pumps to keep those warm. Drink lots of green tea, white tea, red tea. Drink lots of green tea, keep warm. And for extra blankets, ready to keep warm as well. Make sure your shovel, snow scoop, snowboard, snow plows, salt trucks ready as well. If anybody lives in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, be prepared for a major snowstorm on Saturday, March 2nd, 2024. Take care, stay safe. Don't get caught in a major snowstorm. Stay warm, be safe.
I say Frankie probably nailed that forecast on the nail. So we got Mike McGregor to talk to us here from Weather Center in Manitoba, and he'll fill us in on that in a second. I'm going to go to Brandon Hauk first because I think I'm going to let Brandon Hauk conduct the interview with Mike for a few minutes as well when you're done your piece there, Brandon. So Brandon Hauk, the Brandon Hauk Report.
The Brandon Hauk Report.
Oh, hi. This is the Brandon Hauk Report. That'd be because I'm on the radio right now. And I tend to get sexier by the time I go on the air, so that's how it works here.
Yes. Yes, the Brandon Hauk Report. Here we go. Yes. So this past week here, we've had some pretty impressive snowstorms sweep their way through the prairies, and especially through the weekend, and a secondary system, especially midweek here. And we've had some pretty bitterly cold temperatures across Alberta. Like some areas had, especially the last couple of nights in the east central portions of the province, overnight lows in the mid to low minus 30s, and the wind chills feeling like minus 40 in a few locations. And now that's starting to move off as we go through the next couple of days. So looking back at the snowfall totals, looks like Calgary got at least 20 centimeters. The Edmonton area, they had that 20 to 30 centimeter event last week, and then they got a little more snow just the last couple of days as well. So it's been, yeah, it definitely has been a, well, I'd say March coming in like a lion for everybody here in the prairie provinces. And now we're changing that pattern dramatically thanks to the Pacific storm systems out in the Pacific. There's like two big storm systems out there. And now we're going to see that westerly flow start to kick in. We already saw that westerly flow start to kick in today with daytime highs just getting above the melting point in a few locations. But some areas still in that temperature inversion, keeping that temperature down just a little bit. But eventually we'll start seeing those temperatures start to rebound quite nicely for the next couple of days, with the daytime highs pushing potentially double digits by the weekend here in southern Alberta, with the downsloping winds coming off the foothills there. And it looks like we're going to be in this nice warm pattern, the upper ridge taking over for the foreseeable future. So it's going to be some splendid weather coming up for us here in Alberta, and eventually that warmer air will get into Saskatchewan, and then eventually that warmer air will eventually get into Manitoba as well. That's where I've got to head off to Manitoba, where we have Michael McGregor on from the Weather Center of Manitoba. I know they changed the name already, and
Justin did that.
I know you've been witnessing those storms, and well, how did the Weather Center of Manitoba get started?
Justin
You
started.
might have to turn your volume up a little bit.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, not really. No, something happened with your volume there.
Before you went to make your burritos, the volume was great, but now it seems to be not great.
Well, we can come back, I guess.
There must have been technical difficulties on Mike's side.
Looks like it. Anyways, I'll go to this other story to share from that I found out today. And this is a new study that was found out earlier today, that apparently 25 million to 20 million years ago, there was a change in human ancestry, and apparently humans back in that age had tails.
Some humans today have tails when they're born, but that's pretty rare.
It is pretty rare.
Let's try this
Imagine having
again.
to put pants on with a tail.
Let's try this again real quickly. Mike in Winnipeg, can you hear us? No, he's frozen. Okay, we've lost him.
Lost Mike.
Okay,
There must have been computer difficulties on Mike's side.
Mark Engels, he's been waiting patiently, and Imogen, she's been waiting patiently too. Parade of storms is coming in to the Pacific. Parade of storms.
Yes. So are you queuing me or are you queuing Imogen?
I don't know.
Will you show them?
I'm really off my game all of a sudden.
Will you show them?
Well, Imogen, if you want to go, I can go after you.
This has been an interesting week for crazy, unexpected, unpredictable weather. And in true unpredictable Ring of Fire Pacific Coast fashion, we got hit with a 10-minute hailstorm. That was delightful. Roads were immediately frozen with patches of black ice everywhere underneath sheets of hail with extremely low visibility. So as I'm sure you can imagine, there was a lot of vehicles sliding all over the road because everyone was caught off guard with it. And for everyone who's about to say it's because none of y'all have winter tires, most of us do. So cruising around in the work truck with winter tires, just came out of having to tune up and getting all the maintenance done, and we were sliding all over the road, near collisions everywhere. One of the upsides to it, however, was that because this is Victoria, no one really drives over 20. So when we're all sliding, we're sliding very, very slowly.
Well, and truthfully, when you get that hail surface, it is really tough to drive on.
It happened so fast. Like we had a massive temperature drop, and then the hail hit really so quickly that we had black ice that was hidden underneath all the hail on the road. So it's just a double whammy of nightmare driving conditions. And then the next day we had like about 20 minutes of snow, just crazy heavy snow for about 20 minutes. And then within an hour it was gone. There's a few areas today where there's little bits where it kind of collected thick enough that there's bits of ice. But within an hour of it coming down yesterday, it was all gone. But we had like a total whiteout for a little bit. And then just all of a sudden it was like nothing happened. It was me. I'm pretty sure that someone had stepped on a leprechaun and it cursed us or something. So whatever the cause, I'm going to attribute it to leprechauns.
I think
Leprechauns.
so. Yeah, those guys that they should be at their leper colonies.
Right off the coast from here, there was a leper colony, one little island. I don't remember what it's called right now, but if you look it up, everyone watching this has the Google, so you can all look it up. There was a leper colony just off the coast on one of those micro islands.
There is still a leper colony in Hawaii. I forget what island it's on, but basically those people did not want to reintegrate into society because of the issues that they had with leprosy, and so it's mostly elderly people living there.
We got to get these snakes off this train! Okay, so here's the good news. We have Justin Ordle has showed up, and Mike McGregor's back with hopefully a better sounding. And so, Brandon...
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you perfectly now. Yes. Brandon Hauk, take it away from me for a minute. Introduce these guys.
Okay.
Let's do this.
We'll start from the top again. So welcome to the Comedeorology Report. This is the show how much the weather sucks in Canada, and it sure did in Manitoba this week. No doubt about that. And so before we get into that, the two storm systems, tell us a little bit about the Manitoba weather, which is now changed to the Weather Center of Manitoba now. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so I'll go. We became an official business just a few months ago here in Manitoba. We're now fully with the province, so I can say we're actually a business now, which is exciting. I launched it actually myself, just the Facebook page, over 10 years ago now in 2013. I got a little laptop for Christmas from my parents, and I always check the weather models every day and had a huge interest in the weather, and decided to start off that Facebook page, and it's just really blown up ever since, and just reached the 115,000 Facebook followers mark, and working on getting our own website up and running here by the summer, and really starting to bring in some profits from something that I just had a dream of as a kid. So it's pretty cool.
Wasn't it 150,000, Justin?
115,000.
Okay, I had the numbers off then.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure we'll get there shortly. It's not taking long to get that count.
Closely mirrors Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers, except we don't have 115,000 followers or members in the group because people in BC don't nearly care about weather like they do in Manitoba.
Are there even 150,000 people in northern BC?
Yeah, almost.
That's funny.
Oh, that's good stuff. And now you've
I also want to mention too that I'm also part of the team of the Weather Center of Manitoba. I've been a part of the team since about 2014. Justin let me on, and
Yeah.
I've been trying my best to cover weather events, and it's been encouraging learning more about weather in Manitoba every year and every day. It's been kind of difficult forecasting sometimes. I'm like thinking, okay, is there going to be a major winter storm, or is this one going to bust? Like 2022, we were supposed to get a major storm in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
We got nothing, and everyone else around us got slammed. So I think there's a Winnipeg shield that's going. But
Yeah, no, we're happy to have you on the team. You know, we're trying to. Yeah, I'm from the Brandon area, Brandon, Manitoba, kind of southwestern Manitoba. So having Mike get to cover that southeastern part of the province is key as well, just so we have coverage across most of southern Manitoba. And yeah, it's good to have you.
And so now you've also got to witness that big storm this past week. Two big storms actually. The one yesterday, and then the blizzard that happened earlier in the week. I know Winnipeg didn't get hit as hard on the Sunday to Monday storm system.
Yeah.
They had that freezing drizzle. But talk a little bit about your blizzard experience over there in Brandon earlier this week.
Justin,
Yeah, no, it was it was pretty crazy. You know, we just started off the day with probably just 2 or 3 centimeters of snow, and then kind of through the noon hour into the early afternoon, we had a lot of freezing rain and kind of ice pellets, and it was a lot of mixed in stuff. And then once we got to about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, it just came down with heavy snow. You couldn't even see across the street just in the city of Brandon itself. And then me and my friend, he also helps with the group a little bit too. He's got a truck now, so we were traveling out through the city, and motorists were stuck everywhere in their cars with their just front wheel or back wheel drive. And so we helped tow a sports car that had tried to go out in the storm. I don't know why they tried to go out, but it was pretty fun. We towed them 2 blocks right back to right in front of their house, and we said, "You're going to stay put there," and they stayed there the rest of the night. I think I think they might even still be there because the city of Brandon's still trying to plow the streets, but it's getting cleared. We had actually a Brandon Transit bus was in the ditch. We saw too up by the Trans-Canada Highway that day, so they shut down bus services. And yeah, it was quite the storm. Got about 30 centimeters.
People must have been losing their heads.
Yeah, it was crazy. It just got so much national eyes on the system too, because I had an interview with CBC National News there, and they wanted to know what was all happening too, and so it was quite the system for sure.
In this spring coming up, storm chasers, tornado chasers, gearing up to chase tornadoes and large hail once again.
Yeah, that's for sure.
If I get my beginner's license before the summer, I'm probably gonna go chasing with Justin. I'm gonna have to figure something out because I haven't gone chasing with this guy yet.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
So we want to come back to you guys, and we're going to talk to you for a great length of time. But we haven't had really a chance to talk to Mark yet. So Mark Ingalls, your partner in crime, Chris Calais, says he can't make it. He says, going to hit the hay tonight. I'm working tomorrow morning, bright and early. And then he says, my wife was sitting next to me when I tuned into the Comedeorological report, so I don't know what that says about our content because she up and left.
That's okay. My wife is asleep, and she is next to me.
But he says he'll be here next week for our Heat Wave Progress, and Euro's coughing up 21 degrees Celsius for Portland next week.
He's saying 21. Well, I guess maybe, but that's
the Euro.
The Euro. Yeah, okay. I could see it, but maybe. So, just want to lead off by saying that the Portland Winterhawks are still leading the league for the WHL. Oh, and my daughter wants to show you all her tornado that she drew. Don't know if you can see that. You definitely can't see it on the radio.
No.
She's going to tell me I'm wrong, and this is life with the 3-year-old.
Yeah.
So,
I've been there twice.
So, 3-year-old tornadoes aside, the storm train. What a night, guys! The storm train is coming. We were looking at it earlier. Yeah, seriously. roll up the hype train because there's going to be some good mountain snow for Southwest BC. It's not going to completely clear the deficit that they have for snowfall, but it's gonna bring some snow. Speaking about Ring of Fire, Imogen, there were some earthquakes in Washington this week. One outside of Seattle, and then two on the Olympic Peninsula. The two on the Olympic Peninsula were in the Juan de Fuca plate, which is under the North American plate. So that's pretty interesting.
That's awesome.
I wanted to ask you guys. I didn't get a chance to tell my story about the storm in Winnipeg, but if you guys wanted to maybe do that at the end, that's all right.
We're gonna come back to you in a second. I just want to get meteorologist Mark a few minutes here.
Okay, so after the train of storm, which lasts through about Wednesday or so, we're looking at a ridge pattern setting up over western North America. That's going to make us pretty warm. Like Chris was saying offline, some models throwing out 21C in Portland. Obviously a bit cooler up in Vancouver and even further north, but it does look warm and dry, and we'll be losing some snowpack. And like Brandon said, this is kind of going to be in for the foreseeable future. We're talking about at least a week, maybe longer. I'm sure we'll come back to a rainy phase here on the West Coast before summer really sets in, but it's not going to happen in the foreseeable future. A weak nor'easter is tracking from Atlanta on Saturday to Frankie Land on Sunday. He talked a little bit about that, getting some rain and snow and maybe some freezing rain in between. Widespread snow in New Brunswick and eastern Quebec.
That's where Monica is, in Bonaventure, Quebec. That's where Monica Beaulieu lives.
Awesome. Yes. So maybe they'll get some snow, and Newfoundland as well for all the Newfies that are listening, all three of them probably. And then Manitoba is going to be warm. I'll let our Manitoba weather experts talk about that more, but I saw a weather model output of 10C for Winnipeg on Monday. So that'd be pretty nice for them, I bet. And then, as is common with strong ridging in the western half of the continent, the eastern half is it looks like it's going to have some strong troughing. This upper level low is going to kind of set up around the Hudson Bay and kind of impact all of eastern Canada and northeastern United States. It doesn't look like it's going to produce a lot of snow necessarily. I don't see any strong signal for a specific snowstorm for Manitoba or Ontario, but it's something to keep an eye on. These are kind of the setups where that is possible. But like I said, no strong signal. That's all I have tonight.
Okay. And we were talking about, Mark and I this week a lot about El Nino fading and La Nina coming in. Any quick thoughts on that, Mark? Because I've just made some pretty bold predictions, and people are saying, Joey's saying that maybe it's not going to be a bad fire season. Well, I didn't say that because we had a heat dome that blew everyone's mind during the last La Nina. But...
Yeah, 49.5 C there in British Columbia. That's warmer than has been seen in Washington and Oregon. That was Canada's deadliest natural disaster, was a heat wave during a La Nina year. And, of course, the town, I think it's Lytton, BC, that hit 49.5. Lytton? Well, they burned to the ground the next day. So that was in a La Nina year. Just because conditions are favorable for a better fire season doesn't mean that it's guaranteed. And also, even a good fire season has fires. And so, like Frankie says, you need to be prepared either way because, if there's only 3 big fires in the province and one of them's at your house, it doesn't matter how many fires there were in the province. So you need to be prepared. But El Nino is starting to fade. We're already seeing lowered temperatures. El Nino refers to sea surface temperatures in the Pacific near the equator.
That's going to cause hurricanes to increase in the Atlantic, especially down Florida and the Gulf Coast and eastern United States and eastern Canada, even Ontario.
Yeah, that's true, actually. It's transitioning into a La Nina that alters the wind pattern over North America and the North Atlantic. And so that does bring an increased risk for hurricanes along the entire eastern seaboard from Nova Scotia all the way down to Florida and Texas.
We're something to mention because I did research El Nino and La Nina phases. some pretty extensive research on them actually, and what I found that there was troughing more on the west coast and a lot more ridging in eastern Canada, like in Super El Nino of 97, transition to 1998, 99 La Nina, there was more fires in eastern Canada and southern eastern United States. And it does increase the number of severe weather events over the northern plains too. I've noticed an uptick years following El Ninos into La Ninas, like 2010, 2016. Those years, there was an uptick in the number of severe weather events over the northern prairies, northern plains, southern prairies. So we might see that. Justin and I talked about that, and he mentioned that it could be a possibility summer 2016 repeat for us.
Yeah, well, that's a good way to segue,
Yes.
back over.
I just wanted to say the sea surface temperatures are cooling west of the Galapagos Islands. We're seeing the cool water come up from below. This is called upwelling, and that is what is triggering the start of our El Nino collapse. And the last note is it looks like, you may see a chart that shows the sea surface temperatures, and it may look like El Nino is fading rapidly into a La Nina. And if you just look at one chart, seeing that sharp drop on the chart is going to look like a big deal. But going from strong El Ninos to La Ninas the next winter is actually a pretty common occurrence. This happened 97 to 98, I think, or maybe 98 to 99 or something like that. This happened a couple of times in the 70s. So this is a normal thing to go from a strong El Nino into a La Nina over the warm season in the northern hemisphere.
So Mike and Justin, Winnipeg Central.
Even another type of La Nina that can cause lots of typhoons in Japan as well. Oh my God, in Japan.
Justin and Mike from Weather Center in Manitoba. Good way to segue back over to you. Could be more active Northern Plains weather this year for sure. Mike, you got a show on CKUW. Let's pitch that quickly before we talk to you about the weather you just had.
It's not really weather related. I'm just gonna quickly say it's still a show. It's electronic music, and I tend to focus on the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s sound of trance and techno and progressive trance. And there's a lot newer like EDM that's coming out, so I play a lot of that. And I have a weather segment that I do about 1 hour in, and then talk a little bit about how things are going in weather scene here. And I sometimes have guests come in. It's a really good show, and it's on Tuesday at 9 p.m. And I'm working on reaching my 50th episode for that. So
nice work. It's really important that we have Joe Stover come on sometimes. It's important we have other programmers from the radio stations that we broadcast on.
I also have autism too, so it does make it harder for me to kind of get out there. So this is a really awesome opportunity to have that. Mental health awareness is immense, because I've dealt with the periods of depression and anxiety having autism, and I want to thank you guys for having me on.
No, we totally get that. In fact, everybody on this panel, except for maybe Mark, he's perfect, is in some ways.
You want to tell my wife that?
We all have some diagnosis, and I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
You can tell just by how this show's gone so far. So what was the storm like for you last week, Mike? And Justin, I haven't said hi to you personally yet, so it's nice to have you on the show. So
let Justin go ahead first.
We got about 20 minutes still left where we can really talk to you guys. And if people on the panel want to ask you questions, let's do it, because we got you on the show.
Yeah, perfect.
Justin talk for a little bit. I've been talking, taken away from attention from everyone. So,
that's fine. Speaking of La Nina coming back for maybe the next winter and maybe the next couple winters, is good because this winter's really sucked. Brandon was saying off the top here that the weather sucks and the winter storm has sucked, but I like winter, if you know me. I take snowflake pictures, and I just love winter, and it's probably my favorite season. So, we could take a few more snowstorms if you ask me.
Justin, I've got a question for you. What do you think about the snow there in Western Ontario? And the implications for fire season there this summer?
Yeah, well, I haven't looked at that much. Is it less than normal? I think they haven't had as much snow either, like Manitoba, right?
Yeah, they're about in the same boat as you. My dad moved to War Road, Minnesota, which is like where Minnesota and Manitoba and Ontario meet, and there's no snow up there.
Yeah, I know they got a drought down in the States. They're kind of that I guess Twin Cities area is like in a drought. They have been for the last 8 to 10 months or something, I was hearing. And I know even though we're going into that new weather pattern, I think the fire season could still be bad. Northern Alberta, kind of the northern prairies, is still pretty dry. And they're really watching for the fire season there. I think they're going to start kind of a little early this year. So and actually Banff National Park, I don't know if any of you guys saw that. There was actually wildfire, I think maybe a few weeks back or a month ago now. There was a fire already in Banff National Park. So
I think that is so I've made some BC predictions, but that is sort of the other side of the mountains, right? That, it's hard to account for. Even if we have some big change coastally, does that mean we're going to have big changes up in the Northwest Territories and places like that? I ended my fire season. I don't know if you know this. I fight wildfire. That's what I do. I'm a crew leader.
Okay.
I started my season in the Peace region in BC in the very beginning of May, and I ended my season at the very end of September in the Peace region in BC. And things were still burning. And we know from having looked at heat signature maps and from reports and from signs of smoke that there's zombie fires burning out there. It's super dry deep. So, my general prediction I made on my video this week was that we're probably in for an early start no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? Whether we get a switch to rainy or cooler conditions, if we have a significant percentage of the summer where we're below that 30 degrees Celsius and we're above, 30, we're in the 50 to 60% humidity range, fires are not going to be able to burn very aggressively. Yeah. And what we know from past years where this kind of lines up with is there has been a lot of fire starts in some of these years that are off years. But that doesn't necessarily mean fires take and run. So that's in my video, I looked at 1991, a year that might possibly be pretty comparable. But what I think, only 24,000 hectares burned in British Columbia, but there was a lot of fire starts that year. So, that balance can, come summertime, change.
I did a little bit of research actually on forest fire seasons, particularly like when you get El Niños, it just heats things up. Like I saw overall global temperatures have gone up about a degree or two, and they're hotter than last year. That trend may continue. And I remember 2016 coming out of that last Super El Nino 2015, there was really bad. Fort McMurray got hit really bad by that wildfire. I just hope that it doesn't get to that point this year. But with the zombie fires going on, this is a trend that I don't normally see in winter. I remember growing up as a kid, and I don't remember any forest fires happening in the winter months. So I think we might have a bad fire season. Whether that affects our storm season here in the prairies is yet to be determined. So that's why I look at 1 month out versus 3 or 4 months.
Well,
actually, sorry to say, but that's a good point. When it's really bad wildfire season, the storm season seems to be definitely not as active because, the forest fire smoke really does seem to kind of choke out the storms, and you just don't get that heating that you normally would on like a clear, sunny summer day when you got that thick smoke, blowing those westerly winds across the prairies here in the kind of eastern part. So I hope that the wildfires aren't too bad. We're hoping for a good storm season here in Manitoba because we've been nowhere near the average of, I think, 8 or 9 twisters we get. It's supposed to be the average here in Manitoba per season, and we haven't been anywhere near that the last 2 seasons. So I think if
we look at 2016 as being somewhat of a down year in the interior British Columbia for fires, it was not a down year for Fort McMurray on the other side of the mountains, right? So
for sure.
When we say it's going to be a bad fire season, it's for where? Somewhere it's going to be.
Ebb and flows for sure, yeah.
Somewhere it's going to be. Talking about tornadoes and storm chasing, some of the most spectacular storms I've seen in the prairies were in the Brandon, Manitoba area.
Winnipeg
got some really good storms there.
Yeah,
I'm sure you got some stories.
Yeah.
Well, I do. I could probably talk for about an hour, but Last year, I intercepted a supercell in North Winnipeg, and that thing, I tell you, was bad. I went about 5 blocks south of me, and there were trees shredded on the road. There were signs blown over. People said that there were trees knocked over on some streets, and it was like, geez, I missed this by like 10 blocks.
That was a bad day for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And they said there was a couple of funnel clouds sighted over Winnipeg at that time. So, I mean, we're not nearly there, but we've been slightly below average for tornadoes. And, you know what? With Brandon being in primary for storms, I always watch what's happening out west of me before that, you know, at nighttime, like, oh, geez, this is coming my way. Justin's having so much fun. I miss out on it. But, you know, I look forward to seeing what's ahead for this year.
Yeah, for sure. You know, that southwestern corner has kind of been less active the last few years. We've actually been seeing a lot of more activity further north, kind of north of Riding Mountain, kind of Russell east towards the lakes. So I want to see.
Beauchesser last summer, they got hit by a tornado or something.
Yeah.
It was like 12 to 14 feet. Trees were knocked over.
Yeah, we were actually storm chasing that one all the way from Brandon. We did about like a 900 something K day traveling from Brandon up towards Arborg and then down towards Winnipeg and then back to Brandon. It was like a big circle we did, but we never ended up seeing that twister. But yeah,
I got to see the supercell developing, and that thing looked wild, man.
Yeah,
we were looking at it. The whole thing was spinning when I was on the highway 101 Winnipeg, and I was like, geez, I got lucky because we were coming out of Birds Hill at that time. But
yeah,
I will probably get more of that this year. Justin, what's your thoughts on the storm season ahead?
Yeah, well, I think it's because we're transitioning from different weather patterns. You know, I think it could spice up the storm season here across the prairies and the eastern prairies. I hope it's a good season, but obviously, you know, in hopes that it's a good storm season, we hope that obviously it's going to hit rural areas, you know, farm fields. We don't want it to be hitting city areas. You know, that's an issue, but yeah, we're hoping, like I said earlier, we're going to hopefully launch our website this summer and hopefully really kind of ramp up our forecasting and that. So, yeah, I really look forward to the summer season. And now we have that last couple of good snowstorms, so we should have some good moisture going into the spring. I was worried it was going to be kind of a drought and weren't going to have a lot of storm juice, as we call it, but it's kind of came up the last week or two. So happy with that.
Our snow here is about ankle deep now. We had like 0 snow last week, so we're quite fortunate, I think. And getting caught in that storm earlier this week, it was kind of wild. I couldn't see downtown. Normally I could see downtown heading from St. James. So
lots of whiteout.
We got something good finally.
That means that hail's different than sleet and freezing rain. Hail comes from severe thunderstorms. When they have a big cumulus clouds, the raindrop goes up draft, it freezes, then it keeps going up there and adds more layers of water, turns to ice. Then once it gets too heavy, then it falls onto the ground.
Yes.
Does that. I was telling the guys this last week about how one of the times I've been a musician for much of my life. The last 5 years I haven't really been playing.
Freezing rain is like it's like ice pellets, like hailstones, like falling rocks.
Oh yeah.
So I found myself playing at the Brandon Folk Festival in 2017, and we had. Cool. You know, Joey, can you be our weatherman? I was like, yes, we do have tornado systems over in the Saskatchewan side with tornadoes have already touched down today. We'll keep an eye on the storm. And so there was at 10 o'clock at night, I could see in the distance just lightning coming and looking just as crazy as anything. And I was sitting there in Brandon where the folk festival is right in the middle of town there. And there's the agricultural building. And that morning I woke up and all the flags in the agricultural building were pointing west, and I was like, "Oh, it's coming today!" You know, getting all excited.
East wind.
Finally, it's coming, and then I finally go to the stage and shut it down. And it's we got about 10 minutes before the front starts to roll in, and so everyone took cover, and then they went into one of the agricultural plexes, and it rained so hard. We didn't get tornadoes that night, but it rained so hard that there was flash floods and pooling.
Yeah.
Brandon, Manitoba, where storms hit.
Love it. Yeah. We seem to get a lot of squall lines come through here. Like we get like those supercells west of us, and then it all merges into this big bow echo and overnight, and we get some really good overnight light shows and bow echo wind. It's crazy.
That's another thing I saw in 2010 when I was in Brandon, Manitoba, was a nighttime storm. We parked outside of town, and there was so much lightning. I've seen this a few times, especially because I grew up near the Great Lakes. So much lightning that the next day my eyes hurt.
Yeah.
I could barely drive.
I love it.
Down Texas and those places in central states to get golf balls and softball or even grapefruit-sized hail.
Put on your helmet.
Me and my dad were caught in a big storm in 2011 off Highway 67. We were intercepting it by Stonewall. I thought it was going to miss Winnipeg, but I'm like, oh geez. The minute that we saw it building south, we were out of there. We drove right into it. We couldn't see the highway. My dad had to actually like open the door, and we were in the middle of the highway. So we were kind of dumb to leave a bunch of chasers, past a bunch of chasers. We should have just stayed with them. And then last year in 2022, I woke up like 2 a.m. The lightning was just like frequent. Like I've never seen lightning that fast, and it hit with ferocity. Like Winnipeg's been hit by some pretty big storms too. Like
no time for darkness between flashes, Just
yeah.
7 a.m. On October 10th, we got hit by a big storm. It was the squall that came out from the States. That thing just raced. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of flooding down our street. We didn't get hail, but I've had hail here before, and trust me, I Justin, you've probably seen golf ball sized hail, but I haven't yet.
Yeah, I haven't. Probably the biggest hail I've seen is maybe ping pong ball sized. Here in Manitoba, we're very low, so it takes a while for that hail to reach the ground here. So a lot of melting happens before we get that. So we don't get major hail here usually, like Alberta does per se. But
yeah, Brandon and I have had some stories about hail. We've had these conversations on the show many times. The hailstorm I saw in Alberta, Brandon gets to live it all the time. But this shows the fundamental difference between British Columbians and Manitobans. Is at a folk festival in British Columbia when a bad thunderstorm came in. I was like, you gotta shut the festival down. Someone's gonna get killed by friggin' lightning. And they're like, well, we'll ask the musicians. I'm like, and then the guy on stage is like, no, it's fine. It'll just blow over. And the lightning is hitting the mountain with a 2-second thunder count. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I'm like, yeah, and the crowd's dancing. The hippies are going, yay, in the mud. And I'm like literally losing my mind. And then you go to Brandon, Manitoba. We're like, hey, Joey, we know you're a weather guy. Can you keep an eye on what's going on and shut us down? And then when you're like, shut it down, everyone in Manitoba is like, yeah, we better shut it down.
It's funny. I was at the Red River X in 2022, and they didn't shut the rides down. They kept them going. There was a severe storm popped up right over top of us. People were getting soaked. Their cell phones were getting soaked. They didn't stop the rides till the lightning was happening, and I was like, thinking,
that's carnies. You don't expect carnies to do the right thing. They're trying to make money, man. They don't care about.
And they're gonna steal your bikes.
They don't even care if other cars get hit by lightning. They're just like, there goes Dawn. Well, good, and like him anyways.
That's funny.
They're on the Weather Network during that flooding, and they're like, that's at the Red River X.
My dad was a carny, and I hate him.
Yeah.
That there is something to be said, here in the West, people are weather aware, but they are not weather aware when it comes to severe thunderstorms and stuff. People here know all about wildfires, know all about the snow, know all about the low pressure systems, but you stick a thunderbolt in front of them and they just
complacent. We love
no
it.
effing clue.
Yeah. Oh, I've had this on fires where I'm like, everyone step away from the hose lay. There's like a 3-kilometer hose lay going through the forest on top of a mountain where lightning started a fire because it hits there often.
Yeah. Oh man.
And it hits, and all of you would get fried. People are like, wow, really? I'm like,
I have so many weather stories that I could probably compile a list. I would say though that having a couple of close calls with tornadoes inside city limits has scared me. Back in 2013, before I joined Manitoba Weather Center, we had a rotated wall cloud go down our street on St. James. And I was like, oh, geez, this better not drop something because it was over our street. And I legit saw it weekend, like I guess it after it went east of us. But I still kind of like thinking like people aren't aware about thunderstorms. They're not going to be prepared in the event something like this that happens. So
hopefully
like,
it doesn't.
Things go bad so
in
quickly.
'84, like a tornado hits the St. Claude Fair, and it was in a newspaper article I read. So I think maybe doing these broadcasts more often might get people thinking about it, in the summer months. So they go to these places, they're aware. So I might be going overboard, but
Well, and the outdoor theater, the drive-in theater in St. Catharines did get hit by a tornado, and it did have Twister scheduled to play. However, there was nobody there. There was nobody there when it happened because
That's funny.
the storm had knocked the power out, and there was no movie showing. So just to dispel that little. There we go, back in time. So this is the comedy meteorology report. I'm Joey here in the mountains. Okay, Frankie, take it away.
If you want to follow me on social media, my Blue Sky is at Frankie McD. Facebook is Frankie McDonald. My Twitter is at Frankie McD. My link tree is Frankie McDonald. My Instagram is Frankie McD984. My TikTok is FrankDon984. My Clapper is FrankDon984. My Twitch is FrankDon984. My Snapchat is Frankie McDon. My YouTube channel is Dog Souls, and my LinkedIn is Frankie McDonald. Best luck to you. I'm Frank McDonald. You're listening to Comedeorology Weather Report every Thursday night to enjoy only.
That's right. We're on CKUW 95.9 FM Winnipeg, CFUR 88.7 FM Prince George, just near me here, about 2 hours away. CFBX Kamloops 92.5 FM and Rogers Television. Thanks to the panel. Thank you, Frankie McDonald, as always. And of course, our special guest this week, Mike and Justin from the Weather Center of Manitoba. See, it took me all show to get it right. This was a bit of a discombobulated episode we had here, but that's why it's a comedy meteorology report. It's not, you're not supposed to be too serious. We had Brandon Hauk here, as always, Mark Ingalls, meteorologist Mark down in Portland, and associate producer Imogen Bailey. No Hilding tonight because his internet was no good, unfortunately, so we had no Cowboy. That's
Calves will never be delicate and friendly, even though
that's, I think, all I got to say. Anyone got anything they want to say to wrap the show up?
Best luck to you. I'm Frank McDonald. You're listening to Comedeorology Weather Report every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Atlantic.
All right, I'm Frankie. Yeah, you can catch Frankie on the internet. And we had to make up a couple minutes here, so we can go a little bit longer on this side.
So, I wanted to ask, before I go, have you guys thought my comments have been really good? I got lots of weather stories growing up as a kid, and Justin also is a prairie guy, so I think we get along perfectly, me and him.
I think anytime you guys want to come on, you can come on.
I'd love to come on because I'd like to show some of my photos to you guys that I take. Some of those snowflake photos are pretty amazing. It'd be nice to show you guys.
Justin, I have an iPhone camera. Would an iPhone camera be able to capture up close snowflake like that?
No way. iPhone won't do it, really. This guy got a special macro lens, but we could talk about that on another show.
All right. More on snowflakes next time.
Exactly.
That's the show, Frankie.
That's the show.
That's the show. Okay. We'll see you next week, everybody.
See you guys.
And they had an earthquake somewhere in the world.
Hurricane warning! Earthquake warning! Hurricane warning! Earthquake warning!
He was a beloved goat, and he's gone, thanks to the lightning.